In this video I'm going to show a way to do a list of names that I think is pretty easy here to get the list of names ready to send to your embroidery machine. So let's say you have a list of 20 names and you have 20 jackets. They all get the same letter style. And that way, you want them to be consistent, so that you'll want them all the same size. That's what we regularly do, is make them all the same size. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you how to put the whole list of 20 names into one file, so you're not sending 20 different files to the embroidery machine, which takes extra time and everything. I think this is a lot easier, and we use this a lot, and it really speeds up when you have a list of names to work with here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to do 20 for you. This technique will work with anything, but you'll get the idea with me just doing 5, and you won't have to listen to me talk forever in this video. So what we're going to start out with here is we're going to get our text tool, and we're going to put the longest name in first. That way, if we don't know what size we're going to do this, this will help us determine that. So I'm going to put in Melissa here, which is the longest name I've got on my short list here. So we're going to put in the approximate size we want. Let's say we want those to be 65/100ths of an inch tall, and we're going to go ahead and apply that. Now the other thing, since I picked athletic script here, I'm going to go ahead and set my spacing to a minus 10%, which will move my letters over, and we will rekern these when I'm done. If we were doing block, we probably wouldn't have to mess with this so much, but I've picked script just to show the extra steps needed to do script, and there's a few less steps when you do block. So let's say that's our longest name, and the customer, let's say, had asked for like 65/100ths of an inch, and I'm going to look up here. My width is 2.5 inches, so I pretty much know that's going to fit on all my jackets. It's going to fit in the nicely in the size hoop that I want to use. If it was too long, and let's say that came out to be 4.5 inches, now would be the time that I'm going to scale this size down so that all of them are the same size. But since it's the right size, we're going to go ahead and leave it that way. We've got it at 65/100ths of an inch tall. Now what we need to do here now is we need to make a copy of this, and I'm going to do it with the menu here just to show you how that works. We're going to select this and go up here to copy, and then I will go up and select paste. Now you can do this with Control C and V, and I will on the ones after this, but I just wanted to give you a visual of how I'm going to do this. So now I've pasted it. I've actually got Melissa on there, and it's exactly on there right over top, so we really can't see it. But the one that I just pasted is selected, so we just come right up here and we change it to Jackie, which is the next name on my list, and we apply that one. And then what we can do there is we have to click off of that so nothing is selected. We can paste, and I hit Control V there, paste another one on there, and we've got Randy is next on our list. That's our third name, and I apply that, so Randy's on top there. Then the next thing, I click off, hit Control V, which pastes another one. Remember, we copied Melissa, so each time it's going to say Melissa, but we keep changing these. We're going to do Jack on this one. That's number 4. Select off, paste another name, and this one is Mark. So now we've got 5 names on there. They're all stacked on top of each other, but we've got them all on there. Now if we needed to adjust them, we can still do it at this point. Maybe we forgot to set our density. We could go up here and just select all of these with our select tool, drop our density down here to something a little more reasonable. I've got 0.4 millimeter for the density, and while those are all selected, it adjusts them all at once. And then the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and right click on them and go down here to align and do the horizontal center, which will move all the names so they're centered over this vertical line right here. So they will all be centered. If we start our machine in the middle of the embroidery hoop, each name is going to be centered directly in that hoop. So that's really the only positioning we have to worry about. The operator only has to position the very first name. The rest of them will be positioned automatically in the center of the hoop. Now, since these are all stacked on top of each other, not going to be a real good way unless you stand there and catch the machine before it started the next name, and I wouldn't recommend doing that. So what I usually do here is I just want to divide these up and put a stop between each one, or a color change, so that you can go to your machine, tell your machine, rather than moving to a new needle, there's usually a way to tell your machine just stop and let the operator do something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the second item here, because the first one can remain that first color, and I'm just going to go ahead and change these one by one until I get each one with a stop between them. And in this case it's going to go pretty quickly, because we don't even need to do the last one, because it'll be back to the first color. So as long as these colors don't match, our machine's going to stop. And so we've got all 5 of these here. They're all different colors. Each one's on a different color. So now if we have our embroidery machine stop at the color change, at that point we just take out the current jacket, have the next one hooped, pop it in there. When you hit the start button, it will automatically center in the hoop, because all of these are around the same center mark as far as left and right goes, which is what we really care about. So at this point, what we can do is just to verify how this is going to sew, we'll use the slow redraw up here, and we'll go through here, and you can see Melissa sews, and at the color change here, the stop, that's where you would put the next jacket in, and that one would get Jackie on it, and the next one would get Randy, and then the next jacket Jack, and the last jacket would get Mark. And those would just sew in sequence. All the operator has to do is just keep putting jackets in. Of course, they need to put them in the right order. They need to work by the same list that you made this file by, because the jackets probably aren't all the same size, and so they need to know what order to put what size of jacket in. Of course, that's very important. But as long as they work down the list, there shouldn't be any problem with that. So now at this point, if we had block letters and we didn't want to do any kerning, we'd probably be done. I'm just going to quickly go through here and show you how I do this. I'll get my text tool here and select this first one. I'm going to move the E off of that M a little bit. Then I just turn that color off and go down and turn the next one on. I kind of like the way that one looks already, so I'll just turn it off and back on. That one's not bad. And let's say I want to make a change to it. Just get your text tool and grab that little diamond shape there by the letter that you want to move it, and go down through there, turn that one back off and this one back on. And again, this one I don't like, so I'm going to move that over a little bit. Now, since we've redone the kerning on these, we'll turn all these colors back on. Since we've redone the kerning on these, they're not going to be centered exactly anymore. They're going to be off slightly. So I'm just going to select them all again using my select tool, do a marquee select around the whole box there, come down to a line, horizontal center. Again, they're all centered horizontally now. There shouldn't be any problem with them, although that kerning probably maybe keeps them centered, but the last thing to do is get them all centered back up. That way you don't have any trouble. Now we can take this file, save it, send it to the embroidery machine, and put the jackets in the same order that we made this file from, and we can have 20 jackets done with one file rather than saving 20 different files and sending 20 different files to the embroidery machine. So we find that helpful in some cases, and hopefully everybody gets something out of that, and you can put that to use someday. We'll see you in the next video.